So I remember that Sunday. It was in the summer. Summers in a rented building are kind of fun
Yes.
because sometimes
We're
the
forgotten.
the air condition doesn't come on, and so I remember we had one Sunday the AC went out, and your uncle Lamont, Aunt Janice and Uncle
Uncle,
Lamont
they
were
were
coming to the church.
amazing.
Aunt
Yep.
Janice was the best door greeter in the world.
Yes.
But Uncle Lamont's had some heart problems before, and heat just affects him.
Yep.
And so I remember one Sunday, we get there, we're unloading the trailer, we're setting everything up. There's no AC in the building. And if you know what no AC in the middle of July is like in Texas, it's hot. Get inside of a elementary school with no airflow, it's just hot. And so
miserable.
I remember calling Uncle Lamont on the phone and saying, hey, just want you to know the air conditioner is not working today. I know you probably want to be at church, but for your health, it'd probably be best if you
Yeah.
stay home. I'd never called anybody and told them not to come to church. And I was just trying to watch out for his heart condition.
Absolutely.
And so here, right before church service starts, he comes walking into church with a box fan and an extension
Yes.
cord.
He was ready.
He was ready for church and ran an extension cord and put a box fan rack next to him. Oh man, those early days were fun. But it was one of those summers where everybody was gone on the same
Yep.
weekend, right?
It was the more people on the stage than there were in the seats. Day.
Yeah. And so it was, greeters didn't show up, sound guy didn't show up. So we're used to just filling the holes. So I'm at the door greeting and I'm handing out bulletins as people are coming in and I'm greeting them and shaking their hands. You're running kids ministry that
Yes.
day. And so then service time starts. I'm also the sound guy that day. So I leave the door unattended and I run to the board and I unmute the microphones and so they're going on with church. And behind me, where the soundboard's at, is a wall of windows that looks to the parking lot, and then FM 1387, the road out there. And I'm seeing all these cars drive by, and I'm seeing a room full of empty seats. And I'm just going to pray. And I feel like I'm going to pray one of those prayers that's just going to change the world. And so I'm just like praying and I'm just like, oh God, where are those cars going? Like, don't they know that they should be in here? Because I'm prepared and I'm going to preach a message and I'm going to present the gospel today. And the answer they're looking for is here. And I'm just like praying conviction over every car that's driving by. I'm praying that the power of the Holy Spirit would just hit that driver and take control of the steering wheel, turn that steering wheel into the parking lot, that they would come to an abrupt stop and they would be like, what just happened? And open their eyes and see the writing on the wall. Life Church at Long Branch Elementary School, right? Like, God, bring them in here. And I'm in the back of the room and I'm looking at those cars driving by. I'm oblivious to like worship that's actually going on behind me because I'm so angry that day that our church isn't growing. And I just felt the voice of the Holy Spirit look at me and say, Jason, if you love the people I gave you today as much as you care about the people that are driving by, I send you more. But you don't even love who's there today. How can I trust you with more? Those words pierced my heart and changed the whole way I viewed ministry. I'm in the back of the room now and I'm crying and I'm wiping tears from my cheeks and worship's finishing. And again, it was a young worship leader that day and he's finishing his set. And so he's on the stage and we make eye contact and he gives me like the universal sign that
Get up
every
here.
worship leader does. And he's like, the head bob, like, come on up. And I'm like, I'm in the back of the room and I'm doing the universal sign, like I'm not ready. So I'm like, go again. And he shakes his head, takes off his guitar, puts it down and walks off the stage. And it's like awkward silence.
Yep.
Everyone's looking around. And I remember walking up onto the platform, still wiping tears. And the first thing I said on the microphone was totally unplanned. But I looked at our church that day and I said, hey guys, if the first time we meet people is when they walk in the doors to our church, we failed at our mission because we have to meet them out in the community, out in our world before we ever expect them to come into church.
Yeah.
And that really shifted who we were as a church, from just trying to get people to gather together on a Sunday to where we would be the sent ones going out into the community.
Yep. And then that same Sunday, I'm in the back with the kids. It was Ethan and Landon and one other kid at the time. And that was it. And so I'm in there out in the hallway, in the hot hallway. And they're just playing. We did our little lesson. They're playing. And God was messing with me as well. And just breaking my heart for the city when I already thought I had a heart for the lost. I didn't realize I didn't. Not the way he wanted. So things started shifting. That is when Tim and Shelly Taborski joined us and their 3 boys.
Yeah.
We doubled in size.
Kids
and the
ministry
kids.
doubled from one Sunday to the next.
But he really helped us.
Yeah.
And he really started helping you and challenging you. And he had a heart for Life Church.
Yeah.
And we love them so much.
Yeah. So the Taborskis moved from Oklahoma City back down to Midlothian and just began to think outside the box. We ended up buying a second trailer that had some inflatables in it.
Yes.
And so we just started putting those inflatables up everywhere. We were going to be a church for the city.
Yep.
And so if the Parks and Recreation Department was doing a movie night in the park, we were there with some inflatables an hour before the movie. We would go to park on pretty days and we would set them up. Some homeowner associations called us and said, would you bring inflatables over?
Absolutely.
If you wanted them, we were there. Police department did National Night Out. We were there.
Yep.
Wherever we could show up in our community, we were there. People started calling us the Bounce House Church.
Yes, and we were the Bounce House Church. That thing was 30 feet high, the biggest slide you would probably have ever seen for an inflatable. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. We did a massive community-wide outreach with tons of inflatables right before the city's 4th of July fireworks show. I mean, we're a church now, about 60 people, but you wouldn't think of that with some of the community events that we were doing, just trying to let our community know we're a church for the city. We love you. And then people started coming.
Yeah.
And people started coming. People started coming to faith. The church started growing. And I remember one day in prayer going, God, thank you.
Yeah.
But these people were sinners last week. They just gave their life to Jesus, and their life's a mess. Like, I need some help discipling people now. I mean, we had marriages that were in problems. We had people that were living together, not married. We had kids that were on drugs. Like, God, we need some help discipling some of these people now. Like, we need some good Christians too.
Yes.
Some people that will just help us grow these new believers in faith. And then people like Eddie and Sherry Davis showed up, and some of these others. It was amazing along the way.
Yeah, it was amazing. And so then here we are, 2009, coming into our 3rd year at the school, and we knew by April our 3-year contract was coming up. So April of 2009, we could no longer be at Long Branch Elementary School. So that beginning of January, we asked our church to be on a fast and to join us in prayer, because we needed a place, we needed a location, we needed something, we needed answers. We're running about 100, 120, right around there. We had kids now set up in the gym, all the kids, everything. It was awesome. Pipe and drape everywhere.
We could afford to pay for the gym now.
Yes, and we had coffee. This is when the coffee really started. We would make the coffee at the house, and we would bring it, and that was the beginning. Now we had a coffee pot that we would plug in on the ground. It was sterilized, I promise. Plug it in, make our pots of coffee, and serve it, and we'd have our breakfast. This is when we started becoming the culture of Life Church that we are now.
It took us a little while, but we started creating a culture of hospitality and food and coffee and friendship and conversation and genuinely caring for one another and doing ministry for children that's going to affect generations to come. But yeah, I remember that year. That would have been January of 2009.
Yep.
And if you ran the clock backwards, at the end of that school year, our 3-year contract was done. And at that time, that's the extent that Midlothian was renting to outside sources.
Churches and stuff.
And so we knew we needed a miracle because in
did.
just a few months we were going to be a homeless church of 100 people. And so we asked the church to join us for 30 days of prayer through the month of January. And we called on every piece of property that was for sale.
Yep.
I remember driving up some driveways and knocking on people's doors if they had land. And I'm like, hey, would you ever consider selling some land to a church? And we realized real quickly we could afford to buy land,
but not to build.
but we couldn't afford to add a mortgage on top of that.
No.
And so it left us in a predicament. So we were fasting, we were praying. The last weekend of those 30 days of fasting and prayer, we put a letter of intent
We did.
on where Main Street Gym is at now. That was the old David's grocery store, and they had closed down. And so we put a letter of intent to lease it, but not at the amount that they were asking.
Right.
It was a fraction of it, and would raise over the years. So I stood up on that Sunday. We put the letter of intent on Friday. I stood up on that Sunday at the end of our 30 days of prayer, and I said, hey, Life Church, I just want you to know that today I'm standing here to let you know that we've put a letter of intent on a lease. I have not heard back from the property owners, but just want to let you know we've done something. We've taken a step of faith. And so let's just pray. Here's how we prayed. Let's just pray whatever door God opens, we'll walk through it. And that was the extent of what we knew. We put a letter of intent. We had not heard back. In fact, to this day, we have never heard
Nope,
back.
never heard back.
But we felt like we had taken a step of faith and we had done something.
Yep. And so then we get everything unloaded from the church, get it all back on the trailers. By this time, we actually had some amazing people in our church that were pulling the trailers for us, which was nice because our vehicles kept dying pulling them.
They were giving up.
They were done. So we're loaded up. We're leaving. We're about to head to lunch. And our phone rings. And you get a phone call. And we found out that we could possibly have a building and property.
Yeah. So Dr. Claunch called me.
It was Dr. Clutch.
And he was our assistant superintendent for the North Texas District at the time. And he had been called by the Daniel and TK Timmerman that were pastoring the Assembly of God Church at 620 North Highway 67 in Midlothian. And they felt like their time had finished, and they had called the district office and said, would somebody be here? I'd like to give them the keys. And so Dr. Claunch was there, and he walked into that final service of Midlothian Community Church, they were called at the time. And Daniel Timmerman gave him the keys at the end. And Dr. Claunch called me and said, Jason, I heard you're looking for a church building. And if you'll merge with Community of Grace over here, and you'll love the people here, we would like to allow you guys to merge and give you this facility. And so
we started crying.
We started crying. We felt like God was answering a prayer that we had been praying.
I think we drove straight there right after that phone call, and we're like, what just happened? And we did. We drove straight there to look at the property, to look at the building. I mean, we've seen it. It's right next to Walmart off of 67. It's not, I know some of you are probably like, there's a church next to Walmart off of 67. Yes, there is a church off of 67 next to Walmart. It's been there for a very long time. So we drove up to it then and just sat there in the parking lot going, wow, God. Wow. What just happened? It was pretty amazing.
God's so good. And so we inherited the debt that they still had, which was fine. And then we borrowed some money from the district to remodel it. But there's a miracle along the way that we got in touch with Hobby Lobby, and they wrote us a check for nearly $300,000 that paid off the existing debt that the church had. So now we got the property debt free from the previous debt. The only debt we carried forward was the remodel that we put into it. And so we just want to say thank you. Hobby Lobby was part of our story. At the end of our remodel, they reached back out and they said, hey, we're so excited about what you guys are doing. Here's an additional $50,000. And they just seeded a generous gift into what Life Church is today.
Yeah. So I am a very faithful Hobby Lobby shopper. Still to this day.
Maybe we've paid it back now.
Maybe we paid it back now, probably at this point.
So we got the property at the end of January of 2009, February of 2009. Yeah. But then we spent several months remodeling it.
We did.
And towards the end of that year, we moved in. But you're also pregnant with Preston along the way.
I was. So what was kind of cool was our previous pastor was John Bates, and we were on staff with them. Well, he calls us sometime in 2009, and we've tried getting pregnant with Preston for about a year and a half, and it just wasn't happening. So we both had kind of gotten to the point of 2 boys is great. We don't have to have any more. We are blessed with 2 amazing, amazing boys. We're fine. But it's still heartbreaking. I mean, lots of tears were shed.
Yeah.
Lots of tears were shed. Well, Pastor John calls, and he has this word for us. And it was, when Renee is pregnant, you are going to see growth within our ministry that's going to be faster than we've ever seen before. And so I'm like, well, that's funny because we can't get pregnant. I mean, it's that type of, that's cute. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I mean, I'm all for it. All right, God, if you want to do it. Kind of felt like a little bit of Sarah, like, oh, I'll believe it when I see it, a type of attitude with it. And then lo and behold, April 1st, 2009, we did a joke on you.
Yes, you did.
Ethan and Landon really thought it was funny to tell Dad that I was pregnant for an April Fool's joke. And so we did the joke, did all of that. And then April 2nd, Landon had a word from God. My little 3-year-old that barely talked to anybody. He was like, Mom, you have a baby in your belly. And I'm like, no, baby, that was a joke. It was an April Fool's joke. Mommy doesn't have a baby in her belly. He goes, nope. God told me you have a baby in your belly. So then I called Jason and said, I think you need to go get a pregnancy test at the store on your way home. And I was pregnant with Preston. And that was 2009. And now you fast forward 9 months. We've been doing the remodel for 9 months. And the Sunday we had to be out of the building was the Sunday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Preston was born Thanksgiving Day. And that 9 months was the fastest growth we had seen in our church.
Yeah.
It was the fastest of our ministry. It was, we got a building, we got the remodel, we're pregnant, we're seeing growth like crazy. We had the Easter egg hunt, we had the Mud Fest of 2009, 4th of July day. It was completely rained out. We had the back to school bash. We had all of these things happening and people coming in like crazy. And then we had to be out of the school the Sunday after Thanksgiving. And that was our first Sunday in our new property.